Okay, Captain JT, this is your first Richard here, so they're all going to be the same, just like the other. I think you got like 3 now, maybe this will be 6 total in your fleet. I can't remember how many, but they are nice radios. I actually just set one up for myself, so I'm going to keep one, because I do like them. I had one in my car a long time ago, and I did really like the radio, because I don't always need SSB, especially now that the skip is starting to die off a little bit. There's really nobody local that talks on SSB, so there's more activity on AM to listen to. And I can always throw a HF model in my car and use a ham radio antenna. I have a Yaesu ham radio antenna I can use, so that's always an option. And keep this one, because these are small, and this fits in places where, you know, other radios, they can fit, and I've fit bigger radios in my car and stuff, but yeah, these definitely fit the bill, that's for sure. So I'm not going to really cover a whole lot, because I've covered these before for you. But I just wanted to show you the first one. I'll come back and make a short clip of the other 2. So they're all going to be set up the same. I think I set them like 8 watts with your AM RF power all the way up, and like 40 on FM. And then all the way down, it kind of goes wherever it goes. There's not a low power adjustment. So obviously with the lower power, less range. But sometimes you don't need to run all the power. And I'll try to enable the UK. It's just simply works on the mode selection. I'll enable that for you. I'll leave the span off. I'm not sure if you use that, but obviously it's simple to turn that stuff on. Echo on these, I found a good setting. I was playing with mine. It's kind of like a slight reverb. It's like the first adjustment is like 2, and then the second one is 8. This thing comes crazy out of the factory. It's like 30 and 30 or something. It's way too much. So that's the first one anyways. I'll come back and I'll kind of show the output real quick on the last one. Yeah, I just showed this one. The FM deviation comes out to about 3.3. So this is the AM modulation with an 8 watt carrier. It's a little low right now, so you can obviously increase that just by using the service mode for that. And you can really make it hot and heavy like that, but let's see what that ends up looking like. Oh, that's pretty cool. I'm going to take it just one more down from that, though, is better. So it comes out to about the same as mine did, although mine, I set mine up for 2 watts maximum, so because I'm running an amp, so I don't need the higher carrier, or for that matter, an FM I set mine maximum 20, because my amp can take about 25 max input. And here's what it's about, 97%. I mean, if you take it any hotter than that, I mean, there's 98. Probably 98 is good, 97, 98. So if you take it any hotter than that, then it just becomes too much. But obviously it looks really good. And there's our average power with the test tone. So it looks pretty good. It's almost double. And with PEP, it's over 4 times. So that's good too. That's about the extent of them. I mean, they're pretty good. Actually, I'll just show this one. I'll just show this one since this is the first one. The other 2 will be the same. So you can see we haven't even converted the radio yet. So for anyone that's wondering how you do that, I guess we'll do that. This I don't like, so I'm just going to shut that off. If you do like that, you can just turn it back on. Whoop. I won't change any of these settings. The echo, I had this at like level 2. I don't know if you can see that or not because of the red, but and then I had the other one if you change it at like 8. We'll do this. Whoops. Went past it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Radio resets itself. Auto squelch off. Okay, I'm going to switch that to green. It's just a whole heck of a lot easier to see. There we go. I'll turn the dimmer down too. It's too bright. There. Try to do that on all of them. Let's see if we can name this band. Call it what it is. And that's it. So, key up. I don't like using the up and down on the mic on this radio. I think it's too slow. So, just quickly show you your power. RF power is all the way up. AM mode. So, let's see. 8 watts, and it swings to hello radio, almost 50. 1, 2, 3, 4, check. Hello radio. Obviously mine doesn't do this much because I turned it way down. FM. About 40. So that's the extent of them. They're not super complicated, but they're really nice radios. They sound great. They got good receive, good noise blanking now, high cut and all that stuff. So it's nice that all that comes on at once like that. I do like that. You don't have to take your eyes off the road if it's in a vehicle or something. And I'm looking to, probably on mine, I'm going to change the plug on the back to the XT-90 because that's what I have out in my car right now, so I hate rewiring. But that's first one. I'll just come back and show you the next two, just the serial numbers, and then that's it. Okay, Captain JT, here's your second President Richard, new President Richard for you. Same setup as I showed on the first one, so everything's working well. And I got the band name for you and everything. I did do the UK FM, so that's simple enough, just do that. And you have the 40 UK FM band channels if that's something you like to use once in a while for fun. On the dummy load, of course. But you know, it is what it is. It's cool that it's pre-programmed in this radio. And there's a Striker, the little 447, what is that, HPC2. That one also has the ability, I think it's pre-programmed if you convert it a different way, and I've done that before for some guys in Europe, and they've liked that radio. That's a good radio too. I know you were talking to me about Striker on email. That might be one you might enjoy. The little 447 HPC2, that's a really fun one. It's a little powerhouse radio. And it's smaller than this. Well, not really. I'd say probably it's like the Anytone Quad 6 size. So maybe it's a little longer from front to back, but I think width it's about the same. Those are fun radios too, but these are kind of nice too for what they are. You know, this is more like a basic radio in the sense that everything is here, and it looks like an old school radio. You know, if they just would have put SSB in this radio, they would have. I sometimes wonder why companies don't think of things a little bit different. And I've talked about this 100 times on this radio, and I probably will continue to do it in the future, and I think it's too late for them to really change that. There was an older Richard that had SSB from days past. It looks like one of your older style like export radios or something, you know, it had SSB. So you could have easily added SSB into this radio, and they would have done 100% more in sales on this radio if it had SSB. There's a lot of guys that are only in it for the hobbyist side of it now, and they like SSB, and when they don't get an option to buy a radio with SSB, then they don't sometimes consider that radio. Although there's a lot of guys that don't care about SSB too, so it can go both ways. But I'm just saying in general, if you would have put SSB, these guys, they would have saw probably sales numbers of this. People would have bought this radio, I guarantee, over the Lincoln 2 Plus, which I still like that radio a lot. It's been discontinued, but I think it was a really good radio. People underappreciated it, I think. People complained so much about it. You know, and these are guys that probably have expensive ham radios, the Asus, Icoms, Kenwoods of the world. Yeah, you're going to be disappointed when you buy a radio that's, you know, back when I started my business, I think the Lincoln 2 Plus was retailing for like $249, which is an incredible price for a radio of that quality. Yeah, it's not at the same level as ICOM, Kenwood, Yaesu, but you don't buy a radio at that price expecting that kind of stuff, you know, unless you're not familiar with how they work anyways. So, but anyways, this one's done, so let's quickly just show you what we got here. This is the same 8-watt dead key and the same PEP basically, so they all do the same. We'll go to FM, and it's about 40. This one's showing about 41, but so there you have it. That's radio number 2, and then I'll come back and show radio number 3, and then we'll try to put this all into one short video. It'll be a little longer because it's 3 parts, but I'll try to use my little program on my phone to make 3 into 1. Okay, Captain JT, here's your third Richard, new President Richard for you. I think they're somewhat sequential. I'm not really sure about that, but I got them from the same supply source. That's why it took so long to get them, because they came from out your way to me. So I do have a couple. Let me see what I have. I got that one for myself, and I got 2 more of these. So one of these days when I get back to kind of normalcy here in the homestead, I'll put those 2 available on my website. I think maybe one's already there, but anyhow, and I got a little one here, the what is that, the Ronald. It's been a while since I've used one of those. I think those are cool little radios too. It's like the same power as this, just smaller form factor, more button presses than dials and stuff. So some people like a little smaller radio that still packs a little punch, and those radios do that with a little more menu driven setup. So anyhow, let's just quickly show you the power on this one again. Should be just like the other ones. RF power all the way up is 8, FM is about 40, and then when you lower your RF power down, it's kind of wherever it falls into place. So these are about 8-watt carrier, and then with PEP 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, check 1, 2. So it's about 96 to 98% modulation with the test tone. With voice, it's over 100% modulation, as you can see. So again, that's one of those circumstances where with voice, the radio far exceeds that 100% modulation mark with the 4 times power increase and more. So 8 times 6 is 48, so we're about maybe 100, and you could say with voice audio we're about maybe 150%, somewhere in there, because 8 times would be 200%, if you guys kind of catch my drift. So again, that's how it looks here. So it's not hogging up the band or anything. It looks really good. It's about good, I don't know, about at least 4 to 6 kilohertz wide, which kind of is good for AM. You really don't need to take up any more bandwidth than that. You know, you can, but then you lead into issues with bleed over and stuff like that. So, you know, keep the power where it should be, and usually the signal will go a little farther. FM on this, it should be about 40 again. So let's see here. And FM, yeah, we're on FM, and I did name the band on this one as well. Oh, let me show you. I did name the oh, I didn't enable the UK, so let me do that really quick, and then they'll all kind of be the same. It's one thing I forgot. UK on. Whoop. I want to show you the echo. So if anybody's wondering, like, I think the echo sounds good. I don't know how high this goes. Yeah, I had it about 2, and then you tap the button, and then I had this one about like 8. 2 and 8, and I think that sounded pretty good. There's a talkback on this radio somewhere. I think you have to do something to enable that. I don't quite remember at this given time, but it is in the manual, so someone that's more familiar can probably point that out in the video if they want to in the comments. But anyways, here's the FM power, and then now you have your UK. So you can see it switches to, that's a cool feature there. You know, it's obviously more useful in the United Kingdom, but it's still a cool feature to have it, and to have it pre-programmed like that. So, oh, this is AM, sorry. Let's go to FM. So it's showing just about 40, yep. So And then on FM, it's about 3 point something kilohertz wide there, as you can kind of see there. So again, it's not clogging up the band or the bandwidth there either, but it's going to sound much better than how these come out of the factory. So, which you already know because you have a bunch of them in your fleet already. So I hope you enjoy it. One last thing here, you were asking about the QT-80, so let me see if I can find the stuff for that for you. So there might be a part 4. Okay, Captain JT, so I got this one here. This is one that I had gotten as a pre-owned one a while back. I've had it for a while. This is the last one I had. It comes with a mic and everything. And I do have the box and all this stuff. Let me show you. So you decide on if you want it. Accessories are unused. Power cord. Looks good. Got a manual. And it's got a bracket. So it's got everything like a new one would, just with less cost. There's no warranty, unfortunately, on these used radios or anything. That's how I was buying them anyways, so I can't warranty it or anything like that. The Richards have a warranty from President, of course, so you should be covered there. But they have a good reliability anyway, so as you know. But this one, you know, I haven't done anything to it yet or anything, but I mean, out of the box on these, it's a 100-watt radio on sideband. I have it so it's set up so it turns red on TX. If you don't like that, you can change it. I got no problem with these radios, running them in the house. I think they work good and everything. It's just for me, the downside for me is 2 things. First thing, inadvertent SWR issues. So apparently there's a fix for that with some resistance on the MOSFETs, the output MOSFETs. I haven't tried that. Actually, I got these. It's like around a 50 ohm, 51 ohm. They show SMD, but I figure I could use these and just trim them down and try that. I haven't gotten around to it because I've just been busy. And you know, the other thing is the noise blanker on SSB. I just do not like it in the car. It's just way too unaggressive. I want it to be way more aggressive, and it just isn't. So my Grand XL just is far superior on SSB. So most of my radio use in the car is listening anyway. So if I can enjoy what it sounds like. Now keep in mind, when the DX is hot and heavy, or the US skip, you know, whether you got stations, DX stations from out of country, or the US skip. I don't consider other states in the US DX, I just call that skip. If you're getting signals of, well, that ain't gonna help. I'm just looking for something to point at. I guess I just use my finger. I wanted a little non-conductive screwdriver, but I don't find one. So if you're getting signals 5+ S units, it's not a big deal. It's really not. I mean, usually anything over 7 and they're just hammering in, you can hear them fine. The problem I have with these radios, and it's the Quad 6 Pro also, is when the car is running, when the vehicle's on, I get garbage that the radio picks up from the car, which my old radio doesn't, and it makes low signals inaudible. I can't understand them. They become like distorted, and you have like this flutter sound, and then you get like this sound in the receiver. It's like a whoosh whoosh whoosh. It's like a washy, like a whoosh whoosh sound. It's like a whoosh whoosh. And the noise blanker in this radio just doesn't cut that out. On the old Quad 6 and the CRT 9900, it's a non-factor. So that radio has a much more aggressive NB circuit for the vehicle. In the house, you don't need the NB. It doesn't help you any because the NB isn't really designed for home use anyways. As far as that goes, I don't run noise blankers really in the house on any of my radios anyways. But with that being said, I mean, those are the 2 main complaints I have with these radios in my car. So therefore, I don't use them in my car. In the house, yeah, it's a great radio. I prefer to use other radios. I have a lot invested in my Kenwood, and I really enjoy that radio. Hands down better radio than this radio. Any day of the week, it's just better. But for somebody that's on a budget or something, you know, and this is the radio that they want because they feel that 100 watts out of the box is important to them, which this radio is doing far over that, a little bit over that, then it's okay. Preferably I prefer to align the radio. Here's AM, so the carrier is really high, 20 watts. Hello radio, check, hello. So but as far as that goes, I'll offer this one to you if you're interested. It's in pretty good shape. There's a little bit of like a rash here. Apparently somebody did use it. They hadn't converted it though, which is interesting, so it was still in 10 meter only. I didn't move the jumper pin. That's something you can do yourself if you want to. I'm just kind of lazy at this point, but because I got a lot going on. But right now the radio will do all of 10 and 12 meter. Yeah, so it's not going to do the 15. To be honest with you, the 15, I wouldn't use this radio on 15 other than maybe to listen, and even then the receiver is kind of down from the rest of the bands. So if you're a HF general class operator in America, probably you're better off getting something else. Save up your money, get yourself like an FT891 or something like that. Yeah, you can Mars mod it, whatever you want to do, that's fine. It's going to be a better radio. It's going to have better receiver filtering. You can use that radio in the car. The funny thing is, I've heard some people say that radio was noisier. A couple guys had said that, and I just don't believe that, but then again, everybody's vehicle is different. So some guys prefer this sound of this receiver. I do not in the car. It's too like digitized for me, and I just don't like it. I prefer the more analog sounding receiver in the car, and like the super heterodyne receiver or something like that, the heterodyne receiver. I actually like that better than all these SDR style radios. I don't know, maybe it's just me as a person, but I like that heterodyne receive sound. I think that just sounds more normal to me. It's the same thing with light bulbs. I like incandescent real light bulbs. I don't like LED. I'm forced to use LED sometimes because at a certain point that's all we have now, but I still prefer the incandescent light bulb. So again, maybe I'm getting older in my years, and I like to complain. Everybody complains about something. Don't get me wrong, a lot of people love these radios, and if you love the radio, there's nothing wrong with it. That's fine. It's not the radio for me in the car. I would use it in the house, but I got better radios to use, so there's no point in me keeping this radio. And I have one more that I saved for myself just because I like having one of something. So anyways, if you're interested in this radio, it's doing good, and I can quickly set it up for you for the same price I told you on the email. So that's not a big deal. And honestly, I'll do that really quick now in case you decide on it. So I'll try to send this to you. You can decide and let me know. It'd be better if we just shipped all 4 radios together, though, I think, for you and me. Alright, 73. Alright, so we're just going to set this QT-80 up, this used one anyway, so in case Captain JT decides he doesn't want it, this is going to be the setup. So I'm going to set it up how he would like it first. I'm going to do his FM deviation. The radios normally have about 3.3, the Richards. So I'm going to keep this one around the same for him. That way he doesn't overblow his other, like the receiver on his other radios. He's used to that sound about 3.3, and all of his employees are, and his family members and stuff that use his radios, so use the radios that they buy for the charter boat business and whatnot. So we're going to set it up about 3.3, so therefore it'll be about the same. Now you can, that's going to be in the menu of the radio. There's a 4K setting, so I did set it up a little lower than that. So generally speaking, it's usually around 4K is where it should be. So this is going to be about 3.3, but I don't think that it's best to set it up, the other way, because then your other radios are, this is going to be louder than the other radios, and I think it's loud enough at 3.3. So if there's a setting in there to go to 2 or 2.5, I don't remember, so that's going to quiet it down to like what I think you guys have, a Walker 2 or 3 or something. That would be like that. So that's how I set that up to match what the Richards are doing. So hopefully that makes sense. And if the Richards could go to 4 or whatever, I would set it up to 4. But these radios, I set them down to 16 on AM. So there's 16. Now I do this stuff through the service portion, and that's something that I have access to, but most others are probably using the tool online on the computer, and that's fine too. You can do it like that, but I prefer to do it, through the actual service portion, which I can't share how to do that. So guys have asked me before, and that's something I just won't share. So unfortunately, there's things that I say, and I keep my word on things. So and that part is just what it is. So we're gonna set up the AM mod for this radio now. The low power first is going to be about 1 watt, and it's at 84%. Let me set this back a little bit. So and I'm not the only one that knows how to do this, so it's not like I'm anybody special or anything like that. There's others that can do the same thing, and if they decide to share, that's up to them. But I'm not that type of operator to do that, so that's too much. That's a little bit better there, so 96%. Alright, these get really hot, so they don't have any cooling built into them or anything like the Washington, so they do get extremely hot. Although when I ran one in the car while the DX in the US skip was hot and heavy, I didn't have a problem with it. I never had a problem with it in the mobile until the band started dropping out, and then I'm trying to hear weak signals from like Michigan, or there's some guys in Ontario, California, or not California, Ontario, Canada, that I can hear like locals, because Detroit, down by where I work, is right across from Windsor, Ontario, and that's where these guys are out of. So I listen to those guys a lot, and literally it's inoperable. Like I cannot even hear them as I get a little farther away, as they drop below like that S7 point. Just the flat out noise, and that whoosh whoosh, and the brrr, and all this stuff. If the car is off, there's no problem. And some will say, well, redo the ground and do all this in your car and do all. No, it's not that. It's the radio, because if a Uniden Grand XL has a better and more aggressive noise blanker, or an original Quad 6, or a CRT 9900, I'm just naming radios that I ran in my car on SSB that work great. My Yaesu, obviously you'd expect the Yaesu to work better, the 891. I had a Lincoln 2 Plus in there that worked a heck of a lot better on the reception side with the NB circuit. I had a 2950 Ranger years ago in my car, and that worked good. So I'm just naming the things that I've used over the years, but there was never an issue. The issue is this radio, for whatever reason, is just really noisy. That's why I ran across that one video of the guy in Europe, or not in Europe, he's a US ham, but he had some like that optional noise blanker circuit that you can get, the guy in Europe makes it or something. It's expensive, and there's a long wait apparently for it, but I did message the guy. I probably won't get one, because if I have to run optional things just to use this radio in the car, then that's just too much. I can use my Yaesu or something at that point, and just, if I really want to do something like that, or put my Uniden Grant back in there, XL. Let's see what we're doing on sideband. These are okay on sideband. They do need alignment though. Popular to what some will say, you can just take it out of the box and use it. yeah, you can, but it definitely needs to have a little bit better linearity on sideband. They're a little too aggressive, as you can see there. That 60 watt, 65 watt, that needs to get like knocked down, and it's RMS, so we don't need all that. These aren't as bad as some of the others, but they're still, they need to be improved. Okay, so let's see. 16 is too low, so just taking this radio to 20 is better. But I like to go about 24. Makes a huge difference. Okay, that's much better. So now we're at about there, and then you can see here. Go ahead and bump that up some and just bring that down a little bit so we can see. So there you have it. So that's done. So that's basically it. I mean, the radio is set up now for better overall operation. And again, if Captain JT decides he doesn't want it, then I'll put it on my website when I get a chance, and somebody else can maybe take advantage of a deal on one of these. But let's just take a quick peek at the power now. The radio's hot, so probably it's not going to do as much, but you know, when these radios heat up, when the MOSFETs heat up, the radio does less power. Yeah, that's all radios really that use these cheap MOSFETs, you know, that everybody uses on these kind of radios. Now, it doesn't matter what brand it is, they all use cheap MOSFETs. That's why you pay a lot more for a real dedicated HF radio, because they use quality, better quality, more reliable components, but those components cost a lot of money. And that's why you won't see those kind of components put in these radios, because they're afraid that if they did that, people wouldn't buy them. And I say they should, and not worry about, there's going to be people that are going to buy the radio when it has a higher quality component in it, and they're willing to pay whatever it takes for better performance. But I would say also that in this day and age, pretty much anything that's made new, electronically inclined, there's going to be bugs, there's going to be issues. You're not going to find something brand new anywhere, cars, electronics, radios, whatever, that's going to be perfect right from the get-go. No matter how much testing is done and this and that, people that use the product religiously or diligently, they're going to find bugs with anything this day and age. That new Yaesu that came out, the little QRP, I guess there's a bunch of bugs already with that. The thing about it, what I would say to that is, as far as a manufacturing standpoint, if they're serious about improving the product, they collect all that information, and they can release firmware updates and make fixes through firmware. A lot of the stuff in this day and age is firmware fixable. You know, they can redo the firmware and give you, as a owner of that product, a way to fix it through firmware. And Yaesu, I think, does a pretty good job of that. I don't own any Yaesus except the 891, but I haven't heard of anything really with that where I've had to update the firmware. Maybe there is things, I'm unaware of it, but when I used that radio, I really didn't find too many bugs in it. Other than people that have overmodulated radios on AM really sound bad on that radio just because of the filtering and stuff in the radio. You have to run way less reception. I run it's the IPO circuit in that radio, I think they call it, and there's attenuators, and when you're really close to a powerful AM CB station or something like that, it sounds horrible in the receiver of that 891. So you have to learn how to use that radio a little bit different if you're listening on AM. So it's different than like a radio like this. They wouldn't sound as bad on this radio. So some might say, well, man, a receiver sucks in this 891. Well, no, it's just you have to change settings to make that strong, overpowered, overmodulated radio sound better. So these radios are they have filters in them that are a little wider, I think, so they don't distort as much on those strong signals. But this one's all set anyways. I don't know if I ever showed it, what it is, but this is it right here. So, and it's in fairly good shape. So there's not really any big marks. The only mark on it is here. So, all right, that's it. I'm going to get things boxed up here, and hopefully Captain JT will decide he wants to get this one. If not, someone else are more than welcome to have your go at it when I put it on the website. 73.